The following recording is taken from the Kingston Arts Council's presentation of Pecha Kucha, featuring local artist Michael Davidge on February 4th at the Artel Gallery in Kingston.
Very briefly, just wanted to mention that I threw the I Ching the other night for Chinese New Year, and my reading put me somewhere between youthful folly and restraint. And that's what the presentation tonight is, be somewhere between youthful folly and restraint. Okay, so this photo dates from 1994. It is a shot of my parents' Oldsmobile in their driveway in the suburbs in Winnipeg. And this is a photo of my Aunt Melanie in my grandparents' living room. This may be my greatest achievement when I was in grad school. A text piece entitled "We See You Shit." I don't want to grossly psychologize, but I think that this rooted from my persecution complex. This is another piece. It's called Perimeter Parameter. It is a fine line. There were two of us engaged in this activity. We drew a line around the perimeter of the gallery, one at imperial measurement height and the other at metric. We've now moved to my first exhibition here in Kingston. When I moved to Kingston, here in the Artel, sound installation called What Con is in Your Neocon. The speakers were set up in the room, and you could hear, as you listened, a figure traversing the room, thump, 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 whump, at the very end. You can see there's a stain on the far end, and this is me engaged in the activity. What I'm doing is sliding through chocolate sauce and hitting the wall at the very end. And while Satie's Gymnopédie was playing, so it's very elegant. This was a poster that I made to promote the exhibition. It was silk screened in chocolate sauce. Just quickly, a cute story. For the duration of my exhibition, a children's cult formed and worshipped me. Denial was another piece I did I was living at the Artel at the time. We had a group exhibition, tenants exhibition. This is a thing called Bells. It was at the Swamp Ward Window project of that. This is Platfall. This piece is really fundamentally about free will and determinism. If you walk through this piece, you are determined to step into the spongy foam. For each of these projects, I like to have an extension into the non-gallery space. So very often, the form of the work that you see in the gallery is, let's say, under the clear sign of construction, being under construction. Often I have the scaffoldings, which allows for the placement of posters like this. I scavenge some from outside, put them in the gallery, and also bring them onto the street. So we're getting close now to contemporary times. This is 2009. This was a piece shown at the Agnes Etherington Arts Center. It's called The Third Policeman. This is a cocktail. The Third Policeman is a cocktail. It's comprised of 1/3 Scotch, 1/3 Irish whiskey, and 1/3 brandy. It's garnished with a Gauloise cigarette. This is a still from another element in the Third Policeman installation. There was a triptych of videos. This is the centerpiece. You see here we have a center setting for a table, 2 Christmas puddings burning on a balancing scale. A portrait of Sir John A. Macdonald. This figured in one of the other video panels. Another kind of elaborate joke in the piece was based on the history of photography and an anecdote about the surrealist photographer Versailles, who used to time his night exposures of photographs according to the length of time it took to smoke a cigarette. Under certain light conditions, 1 cigarette, others 2. So what was visible in the images was only the light that was from the fire that was burning. So you didn't actually see a very clear image of Sir John A. when he was featured. What you saw was the light that was available from a Gauloise cigarette that I was puffing on as hard as I could to create a glowing ember. 2010, summer of, I traveled to Dusseldorf and presented at a symposium where I gave a paper on a connection between Anais Nin's appearance in Kenneth Anger's film Invocation of the Pleasure Dome. Inauguration of the Pleasure Dome. And I sort of punningly connected Anais Nin to Henry Miller's insistence on calling her anus, and Georges Bataille's theory of the solar anus, which is essentially the sun, which would blind you if you were to look into it too long. The next slide, which was presented in my paper, which I didn't explain at the time, but also, just wanted to let it steep into the atmosphere. Was this is a solarized anus. That also entailed performance, but we're moving on now to this next one. It's this is a score for a performance of the ensemble Soub. And it kind of comes around full circle because we first presented this piece, which was entitled Black Steel in 45 Minutes of Chaos. It was a tape collage that I made around about the time I was taking those Polaroids, and only was able to fully realize it now here in Kingston with the great support of the artistic community here. This is my most recent piece. It's going to be unveiled next weekend at the Verb Gallery. It is a neon sign that reads Pretty Vacancy. Thank you.